Welcome to the Midday Repartee. I am Ronten Glory. Today I am joined by my co-host, the greatest shit superhero in Scotland. How's it going, Captain Fuckhead?
I am good. I'm knackered. I've been doing man's work all day today, so I'm knackered.
Nice. Yeah,
Once we've done here, I'm going outside, setting a fire, and drinking a couple of beers.
that sounds fantastic. I'll definitely be starting to drink a little bit later. I've got Atomic Deuce later tonight. I definitely like to imbibe on that show. This is my sober show. So you were working in the garden, man.
Yeah,
Nice.
I grow a lot of my own food, 50 to 60 kilos a year. Keeps me fed all the way through the winter, so I don't have to buy food basically. But
Wow, man, that is so cool.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that quite a lot of people are going to find food very difficult to come by in the next few months. So I'm making sure that I've got some extra growing space and some extra storage room and moving tons of earth and doing all that shit.
I really admire that. I've grown some food in the past, and it's really, there is a satisfaction that comes from that that's kind of unlike anything else.
It's also cheap, which is my favorite thing about it.
Yeah. Mitchell is also joining us today. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. I think it's going to be a good topic. I think you picked a good one out.
I am very excited about talking about this. I'm also very excited. I want to mention real quickly that we have an epic launch today in ComicsGate, Battle Brick Road from Eric Weathers. This thing is off to a tremendous start. I managed to snag backer number one spot.
Oh,
Pretty
snap.
pleased about that.
Congrats.
Yeah. He was live on EVS's stream, and there wasn't really a countdown to it. I knew they said it was going to be a few minutes, so I was just hitting that refresh button, and nobody else knew it was live yet, so I snagged it. It's my first one. So, but yeah, this is such an iconic, the title is so perfect. It's Wizard of Oz with guns. Instantly, I just think it has the potential. It's going to take off. I really see this getting to six figures.
I think so too. And I mean, Eric's had a couple other campaigns, wasn't right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he did
Flying
a Flying
Fortress.
Fortress. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course he's involved.
So, I
He's
mean,
a letterer on so many campaigns.
I mean, he delivers
He
too.
d-
So,
he's
still a lot
proven
of those
track
Flying
record.
Fortress ones floating around.
Yeah, this guy is a real force in CG. He's such a good guy. It's so great to see him have a runaway hit like this. You can tell it's going to do great things, and it's just great for everyone. And when there's success in ComicsGate, it benefits everyone. That's what I love about this so much. Okay, so shall we dive into the topic of the day, which is vetting versus gatekeeping in ComicsGate? And I wanted to do this because EVS had popped up with a tweet saying that moving forward, receiving promotion on my show will require having fulfilled at least one campaign to backers successfully. I can't ever ask my audience to invest their hard-earned money in a comic by someone without a proven track record of keeping promises. That really, when I saw that, I knew we had to talk about it. I do think, I'm going to ramble here for a second. I do think it's important when you have a discussion like this. I think it's really key that everybody's on the same page when we're talking about words and definition of words. So I just wanted to go over real quick vetting, the process of carefully and critically examining something. Also, the process of investigating someone thoroughly, especially in order to ensure that they are suitable for a job requiring secrecy, loyalty, or trustworthiness. So that's vetting. And then you have gatekeeping, which is a completely different thing. That's the activity of controlling and usually limiting general access to something. And, Kickstarter, absolutely gatekeeping their platform, just limiting access to what people the campaigns that can go on there based on political views or whatever else they see fit to gatekeep. So I think it's important for us to all be on the same page when we discuss this. You know, Captain Fuckhead, what do you think about EVS's tweet?
It's a difficult one to sort of wrap my head around. I completely understand where he's coming from. I know he's experienced issues with helping people in the past, and then I don't know how to describe it. Maybe getting stabbed in the back might be a good description. I don't know. Maybe not.
Right.
But I know he's had experiences that have not been with other ComicsGaters that have not been particularly positive. So I guess for him, if that's what he wants to do, that's fine. I haven't got any problems with that. Like the whole frigging debate that was going around CG a couple of weeks ago, it's his platform. He can do what the hell he wants with it. It's up to him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, I wouldn't even say, some of the instances I wouldn't say directly are backstabbing. I think it's more about, ensuring that if you see a campaign promoted on his channel as a fan, he wants there to be a little bit more assurance that you can trust that product will be delivered. I think some of the things that have happened weren't necessarily somebody trying to backstab EVS directly. It just they weren't able to deliver. They weren't able to follow through. And I think making having someone prove that they're committed, that they're serious, that they're capable. I think I agree with it. I think it's positive. What do you think? Go ahead.
I was just going to say I don't think it's not a positive thing. I don't think it's not a positive thing at all, but it's going to make things more difficult for new creators.
Is it?
I think so, because what's going to have to happen is when you hear Malin talk about grabbing an all the time, people are going to have to do that, which they should be doing anyway. But I know certainly we call him Chubb over here, but
Yes.
Carl, the creator of Mary Boys, first UK book in ComicsGate that we're aware of to break both 10K US and UK. He's a first-time creator in ComicsGate. He has done graphic novels before.
Yes.
For Slave Labor Graphics, I think. But if it wasn't for getting that bump from EVS, he might not have got anywhere near 10K, either UK or US.
And what the bump he got, wasn't that? It seems to me that was early on, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I feel like CG today versus a year, 2 years ago, I think a lot of platforms have been growing. There's a lot more on the middle tier platforms in CG. There's a lot more strength there. I think there's a lot of up and coming channels. Hopefully this one is one of those. So there's a lot more. The network is bigger, is stronger. There's more options for creators, I think, than there was in the past.
I think that's true. It's certainly an undeniable fact, is the way I would like to put that.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, sure, obviously you can't beat getting on the biggest channel that builds the most excitement. That's obviously, any campaign that has that happen, they're going to experience that big bump. But I think there's value in if you take what he has said, that he wouldn't platform somebody who hasn't proven themselves. How many bad things that have happened already would that have avoided? There wouldn't be a Critias situation, at least not on the level that it was, right? And when EVS steps up and promotes a book like that, when they don't deliver, he takes a hit. It weakens the whole framework of this thing. So I think it's a smart move. I think it will serve CG well moving forward.
I hope so.
we're gonna have to interrupt the conversation just for a moment because, like Fragaboom would say, I'm sensing the presence of greatness.
I'm already here.
Oh
Hey,
man,
how's it going, everybody?
Weathers,
it's doing good.
Hey,
the
we're
man
on
of the
10
hour,
now.
sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How's it feel to be backer number 1 to Battle Brick Road?
It feels very good, sir. I'm
Thank
gonna
you very
be
much for
bragging about
jumping in
that all
there.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in there and showing your support. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I've been excited about this one for a while. It's so
been a while.
iconic, man. It's so
Thank you.
iconic.
Thank
yeah.
you.
So why do you want to give us that sexy elevator pitch?
Oh, you want the pitch? I'm still workshopping it, so you might
Okay.
might be a little sharp edges here. Let me give it a shot. I need to look at the campaign myself to make sure I don't miss anything. Battle Brick Road.
If
Battle
you
Brick
want to
Road.
share your screen, go for it.
You got the campaign up already. Should
I
be good
do.
to go. Yeah.
You know, it's like guys wanting to be in control of the remote kind of thing. If you want that control.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
All right.
I trust you.
All
Battle Brick Road is in the quickest way I can say it is it's Wizard of Oz with guns, sort of Wizard of Oz meets G.I. Joe. But it tells the story of Thea Gale. She loses her father at a young age, and she's sort of been on a quest to find him this whole time for about 15 or 20 years. And she gets a message from him. It says, Dorothy, honey, I'm here. You can find me. These are the coordinates to find Oz, to find where I am. And when you get here, just follow the Yellow Brick Road, and that'll lead you to me. And so she embarks on this quest to go find her dad. And along the way, she'll befriend a few crazy warrior type mercenaries to go help her along the way, and maybe help themselves along the way. It is a 52-page graphic novel I'm putting together with my good friend Zeb Hatfield. He's writing the story. I'm drawing it and lettering it. It's going to be colored by Farrah Normaliza from Door Kickers and Peregrine Wings of the Falcon and College of the Dead 2. And I think she's going to be doing Lady Alchemy as well. So Farrah is quickly becoming the colorist for all the ComicsGate books.
Nice.
It's just a take on the Wizard of Oz. We sort of stripped away everything. Was maybe kept a few familiar elements, kept the bones of it, and really injected it with a whole lot of action, a multi-layered story, genetically manipulated creatures and AI controlling domineering dictatorships and all sorts of crazy stuff. A whole lot of fun, and this is the first sort of book in a 4-book series that we're launching here with our Battle Brick Road IP.
Fantastic.
Yes, yeah.
I'm in love with it. The artwork, everything is just. I mean, and you must feel that too. That how sometimes all those pieces just come together in a perfect way.
Right.
And there's so much energy behind it. I mean, are you feeling that for this project?
I am. Yeah, things are going better than I was. I don't know if I want to say better than I expected, but you never know when crowdfunding. You always. I was nervous all day yesterday. I was on edge, and I was constantly checking the campaign, repricing things, restructuring things, moving things around, talking with Clint from Sweetcast and Von Klaus. Be like, okay, what do you guys think of this, and this? So there's a lot of build up to it, and it just sort of. I couldn't even sleep last night. I was just thinking, did I do it right? Is it going to launch all right? Just nervous,
Right.
You never know.
Did I accidentally forget to put no shipping charge on?
Exactly.
On everything?
Even this morning. This morning I checked. The shipping on one of the tier. I checked all of them, but one of them. Normally, you differentiate U.S., Canada, and international. For some reason, on this one tier, I forget which one it was, but I had accidentally selected Australia instead of Canada, so I was able to fix that.
Nice.
So that was good. And this time around, I fixed all apparently the American territories like U.S. Samoa, Guam, and all that. They have domestic shipping rates, so I updated those as well. That's a little behind the scenes stuff, but
nice.
But yeah, I think I have all my ducks in a row. I haven't heard any complaints yet, so
good.
Things are good.
Now, when you say it's a 4-issue series initially, are you thinking that might expand into something larger after that, or?
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, this first this first book that we're crowdfunding right now is the first 2 chapters. It's 52 plus pages. There, things can grow a little bit depending on how pacing goes, but we feel we've got a pretty tight story here. And then every book would be another 2 chapters, so 8 chapters in total in a completed of a 4-book series, similar to how like Ethan is doing with Cyberfrog. You got Red Planet and Blood Honey and Red Extinction and all that.
Right.
Tried to follow that model. So the Operation Zephyr tagline is for book 1. Book 2 will be called Fall of the Yellow Brick Road, and book 3 and 4 titles are still to be determined. But
nice,
man, yeah, the idea that we have sort of built in our version of Oz opens up for a lot of potential stories maybe sort of outside that main what most people know of the Wizard of Oz, like the movie, is based off the Wonderful Wizard of Oz book. There are like 14 other books in the Wizard of Oz canon.
Right.
And the idea of maybe just taking maybe characters or ideas, but not following as much as we're following this one.
Yeah.
But fleshing out a larger world. You never know where things go. If this thing really takes off, then it might be Battle Brick Road from here on out for me.
Yeah, man. I it feels like it has that potential. Like I said, it's just iconic Reddit. When you see Battle Brick Road, you're like, wait, no, this didn't exist before now? Like, how did this not already exist? It's just,
I like,
it's just one of those things
to do that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So this, your featured tier here, what is the supplemental?
The supplemental will be, if anybody backed Flying Fortress, I had a supplemental section in the back of that book, and it was 20 pages or so. I don't think I have a book right here near me where I can show you. It was about 20 pages, and it had it had an ash can that we did. It had pages that were on the cutting room floor from different storylines that we ended up cutting halfway through, and character sketches and things like that. It's going to be very similar to that, helping to bring out more, maybe bring more context to certain characters that people like to read a little bit more about, maybe a character's background that you might just get like a hint of in the story, stuff like that. We're going to put a call out for fan art. I would love to throw a bunch of fan art in that thing as well.
That's always fun. Yeah.
That one is a growing book. The more stuff that we get in terms of fan art, the more stuff that I get from Zeb in terms of character stuff. And as I draw the book, I work traditionally. So I'll do my layouts and stuff digitally, but the final pages are traditional. So sometimes I will be halfway through a page and decide a different layout would maybe work better and sort of maybe start over. And some of those concepts are, you're going to be able to see that kind of behind the scenes cutting room floor stuff. It's like DVD extras.
So what do you plan on doing with the original art? Is that going into the campaign at some point?
Yeah, some of the original art will. The cover is, I haven't decided on the cover. I really love it, and it's sort of special to me, because it's like my first book in a long time. Yeah. Not sure if I'm ready to let go of that one.
Yeah, I think you should hold on to it. Like I think 5 years from now, you don't know what this property could grow into. That cover might be worth 10 grand down the road.
Exactly.
So,
but as I'm going to pick and choose pages to post on the campaign, as they're done. As it's like, oh, this will be a good splash page, and we'll put it up there for a specific price so that people will know what they're getting, and it's not a $500 for an original page, and you don't know what you're getting. It's either that or first come first serve. But I like the edit. Art T. Bear was doing that with Black and White and Chrono Mechanics, where he would post the page and like, this one is $100. Well, this one's $300, and it sort of allows for the people that want to get original art. You get different buy-in prices, and that's always enjoyable. So
I think people appreciate. Yeah, I think people appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. Plus, you can throw in a free copy of the book as well. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, admittedly, I've had this page static for quite some time, but however this moves, we're taking full credit for it. Take
all the credit. It's all on this stream. If it goes down, it's your fault too.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Midday Repartee, bringing it, moving that needle.
Moving the needle. Hashtag.
It was
moving the
probably
needle.
sitting there for 45 minutes. So,
I hope not. Hopefully, it's been moving this whole time.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's really taken off, man. I think. Where else are you going to be today? In terms of live
Well,
streaming.
I'm waiting for. I have a package coming with a new monitor, and I want to set that up so I have a nice new monitor. But I'm going to be on my show later.
Okay.
I've reached out to a few people, and we're just sort of waiting to hear back.
Nice.
I was on with Clint earlier on Sweetcast. I'll be on
Saw
my
that.
channel sometime this afternoon. Depends on when the family gets home and have to juggle all that stuff.
Yeah.
Going to see about getting on with Billy and Crowdfunding Comics soon, and
Cool.
I'll probably be on with John and Cecil, and just do the rounds. And anybody else that has a show that's willing to have me on to talk about the book, well,
All right, man.
I'm here. So
I'll be in contact.
all right.
We
All right.
really appreciate having you on. If you want to, we're having a discussion about a tweet that EVS posted recently. Moving forward, receiving promotion on my show will require having fulfilled at least one campaign to backers successfully.
Yeah.
So we're kind of having a discussion about vetting versus gatekeeping, and if you want to hang out and talk about that a bit, we'd be happy to have you.
Yeah, sure. I'll hang out for a little while for sure.
All right, cool. So, where were we, guys? I think Mitchell, were you about to chime in on this topic?
Yeah, I think that you're using the dictionary definition of gatekeeping. When I think of gatekeeping, I don't really think of the dictionary definition. I think a little bit more of like the Urban Dictionary, where it's someone who doesn't have authority trying to take actions to prevent someone from being involved in like a group or a community. And I feel like
Okay.
Ethan definitely does have the authority on his channel to say, hey, you got to at least, get one thing completed,
Yeah.
prove that you're here for us.
Yes.
I wouldn't really call what he does gatekeeping.
Not at all. No, I wouldn't either. Well, for one thing, he's not saying you can't be ComicsGate unless you're on my channel. He's just saying you can go out there and be ComicsGate 24/7 and leverage anyone in the platform that wants to have you on, build your own platforms, declare ComicsGate any way that you would like to. But I don't feel comfortable promoting you on my show until you have a proven track record. So I don't see that as gatekeeping. I see it as vetting for his particular platform.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's also good that he laid out kind of what he's expecting from you there. He's like, hey, this is what you need to do for me to consider having you on the show. Yeah. It's not like he just made a thing like, and I'm not doing this anymore. You could go through and it's like, all right, maybe campaign 2, I might be able to get, EVS to give me a little push, especially if I do this first campaign well.
Yeah, right. Jay Money, did you have some thoughts on this?
I do. So
All right.
I feel that the movement is old enough now that it's no longer Ethan's quote unquote responsibility to get the new team and the new people under his wing to try and guide them to money making. First off, Eric Weathers, what is your YouTube channel, sir?
Eric Weathers.
Oh, okay, fine, all right.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, but we got enough people from War Campaign to Wanger to this show to Dan, and every single one of those channels have a different guiding light, I guess, is like there's a certain type of persona from the host, and there's certain type of customers that gravitate towards those guys. But ultimately, they're all buddies and they're all friends with John and the bigger voices, John and Ethan and the other fellows, to where there's enough structure to where you can get to be known in the community by hanging out with Wenger or even on Eric's channel, which I'm surprised I was never subscribed to, and then a few other people that can bring you up into the ranks, because even though this is a non-business movement and the idea of the CG phraseology, like it's a movement, there's no leadership.
Yeah.
But there is a hierarchy of talent and skill, and if you want to get on the Howard Stern show, You don't just send them an email and expect to get on the channel. You gotta
Right.
go and hang around other people and be known, and then you can gradually move up. And so I am thoroughly on Ethan's side with his decision, because he's literally raised almost $1 million for people who have in turn turned around, completely dismissed him, called him names, plot and schemed, and then
Right.
and laughed.
Mm-hmm.
And then they create this giant drama movement that they
Yeah.
can't themselves handle once they created it, and then it snowballs into worse and worse. It just gets bad. It gets real bad.
Yeah.
And
And some of
it's
them
embarrassing.
not delivering their projects at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. He's literally raised $1 million for people over the last 3 years from a certain group of folks who have completely backstabbed him. And so his cover on his grand opening day was completely relevant to all of this, because he has been
Right.
backstabbed.
Yeah.
I love the way he tells the story of what he's been going through Cyberfrog. I think most people can clearly see that he does that, and he's very good at it. And that's just great art, for sure.
Well,
Um,
this is just, if I may interject, it's what John Malin is talking about. It's platform, right? So you have it. This is clearly an open show. I saw that you just kind of let anybody in.
Yep.
That has its ups and downs. It can be interesting that way. Cecil does that from time to time. Even Ethan has done it from time to time. Throwing the link in the chat. I'm more reserved. I like the guys that I hang out with. I like talking with Clint. I like talking with Vaughn and maybe a couple of others. So on my show, it's more narrowed and focused, I guess you could say, or just that. And if Ethan wants to say, if he wants to pull back and say, there have been too many times of me promoting something that either maybe I shouldn't have been promoting or turned out poorly, then yeah, pull back and say, for the most part, if you haven't fulfilled a campaign, then you're not coming on my show. It's his platform. He can do with it as he sees fit.
Yeah.
And we were on today, and it was very much like that. It was very much like, oh, I guess I can't promote Dan Fraga anymore, so because he hasn't done a campaign and fulfilled it yet. So it's fun though. I mean, it's fine. I think it's your channel.
Yeah.
Nobody has a right to your bandwidth.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I certainly agree with that. But how do you think that there's value in the decision he's made for his platform?
I don't
Do
think
you
it
think that's
devalues his
wise?
platform.
What's that?
I don't think it devalues his platform any. I mean,
Yeah.
people are going to come to see Ethan. They're coming to see Ethan, and mostly, let's be honest, they like it when Ethan's there with Cecil and John, Kelsey, the heavy hitters. It's not
Right.
necessarily about having people, littler guys like me, on promoting a book. It's more about just hanging out and watching him make fun of stuff and point out funny articles and just have a good
Right.
time. And that's why I go. It's not about, oh, what's the next campaign? It's just a matter of whatever the channel is, and just let that person do their channel. So I have somebody at my door. I need to.
All right.
Well, and so
I'll be right
there's
back.
also you don't bring the intern who's never done anything up to floor 13 where all the professionals are, and just expect to be able to mingle. Like, you're still the guy pushing the mail cart, putting stuff on their desk as you walk by. You can't just assume because oh, I'm CG, and then you can just hang out with the big boys. In my brain, and in a bunch of other people who've been in the professional world's brain, it doesn't work like that. And it's not
Yeah,
to say that
agreed.
Ethan's a bigger person, but he's a more talented professional individual who has a big business, and he has to protect it. So
Yeah. I do.
Yeah,
I
like-
do think it safeguards. I think people will respect the decision ultimately. I think it's smart, for sure.
I think
And this
that
is
if
coming
you-
from someone who is hoping to have a campaign launching, in the next 6 to 12 months. I'm in the early stages with Ink Spots on a project, and I'm Of course, getting a bump from EVS's channel, that's kind of the ComicsGate dream, right? But even in that position myself, I'm looking at it going, this is a smart move. Make me show that I can fulfill a project first. I think it's wise.
Yeah.
I think that you need that first kind of smaller campaign almost for a lot of people to get kind of like the kinks worked out of their kind of system so they can learn what works, what doesn't work. I mean, if you just jump into the deep end, not everyone can swim right away. And
Yeah.
I think a few of the people that kind of didn't pan out that well, that have had big bumps, really got that way because they jumped into the deep end and they were just kind of overwhelmed with what was happening, either the money that they all of a sudden had or the amount of work that they all of a sudden needed to perform.
Right.
And if you have that kind of like stepping stone way up, it really does help you become better. You can build that foundation. You can make a few smaller mistakes, and when you only have a small campaign, it's not as noticeable as if you have, a $30,000 book with a couple hundred people paying attention to it now.
Right.
I think it's worth noting at this point that there have been several comics gators who have made a point of doing a campaign without Ethan's aid.
Yeah.
There's
I
been,
do think,
right.
yeah, I do think there are people, I think even, Wenger to some extent, I think really put in effort not to lean too heavily, even though he does have access to it.
Mhm.
I think there is, he wants to show that he's built his own viable platform and that he can move the needle with his own team of people and provide entertainment and do that. So, that's very respectable. I like that.
So
Dead
I
air,
got
folks.
my mail today. That was the knock on the door. I would say this, and as I stepped away, somebody might have brought this up. I don't know. By the way, Mitchell, I love the Flying Fortress patch and bookmark I see on your board there.
Thank you.
Start small. I started Flying Fortress very, very, very small. You can. I feel like there may be a place for smaller crowdfunding things where you only need, maybe money to cover shipping. If you're, for instance, maybe you're able to afford the artist or whatever out of pocket over a year or two or however long it takes, and just do a crowdfund for maybe $5,000 because that's how much it's going to take to print, and that shows potential future backers and current backers that I'm serious about it. You can trust me to fulfill on my campaigns. It may have been small, but now I'm ready to tell the bigger story in this universe, or the next story that I have tucked away in my filing cabinet. It's a lot of people come out of the gate with these epics, hundreds of pages,
Right.
and that's dangerous. I mean, we've seen it fail. We've seen it succeed. I'm not saying that it can't succeed, but we've seen it fail.
Yeah.
And it's just tricky. And I don't blame any backer for ever hesitating for backing a crowdfunded book ever.
Yeah. Right.
Because it is.
I think that's really valid. And I mean, and how much have you learned? How much did you learn from your first campaign, from doing it that first time?
Quite a bit.
Would you say?
Quite a bit. Things. First of all, you always hear. I remember when John Malin was talking about just giving advice. He'd say, pad your dates, give yourself more time because stuff always takes longer than you expect, and that's true. Flying Fortress was done. I just had to re-letter it and then get it put together as a pre-press file and to the printers, and even that took a couple of months longer than I was expecting.
Right.
Because you start relying, I hired somebody to do pre-press. I could have done it myself, but I figured I didn't want the headache. And then that took a little longer than I was expecting. And then, because you have to work on other people's schedules. It's like right now, I have Farah coloring Battle Brick Road, but she's busy with 3 or more books right now. I'm not going to get any of my pages colored until July or August. So even I'm already waiting in a queue of one of those things that you just have to wait. You're going to have to wait. So it's one of the reasons why we need to grow ComicsGate and get more creators in here to sort of help broaden that talent pool to draw from. But
definitely.
you know, starting small is important.
Yeah, I think that's so true, and you know, so it's almost like this is the right medicine for all creators. I think if you haven't done this before, there are going to be so many branches you're going to hit that you didn't even know existed on that tree.
Right.
So when you have that experience on a smaller scale, where it's not going to, if things go wrong, it's not going to be the end of the world. I think that's so valuable for creators. So it's almost like, you know, just go through the steps one time. Learn what this is all about first before you try and reach for that big time where you might get overwhelmed and really mess up your crowdfunding career forever, you know?
Yeah.
So, Charlie's
Hi,
London,
Charlie.
how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing
Good.
great.
What's going
Hey,
on,
Charlie.
Chaz?
Hey. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of days, hasn't it, with everything that's gone on. I can't actually believe, to be honest, that there's been such a divided opinion on what Ethan's saying. I mean, it's like, to me, it's almost like you wouldn't leave your front door open and let everybody come in and out, because some people might come in and actually sit down and be respectful. Other people might come in and steal your furniture. You know, it's to
Right.
me, it's like it's no different. You know, I don't really get it. I mean, it's interesting
Is-
to me listening to it, because for my project, I have no option but to fulfill. I've got there's no not fulfilling for me. There's no, because I'm answering to somebody else. It's not even, I've got the license for something, but it's not my own creation. It's my own interpretation. But without having to worry about how it would look to my customers, I've already got someone technically breathing down my neck that wants a return on the fact that they've given me a license.
Right.
So it's an interesting one for me, because I think my sort of situation is a little bit unique, but at the same time, it still puts me in I'm a new creator, and I'm not going to take anything for granted, and I'm going to make sure that everything I get, I earn, because I don't want anyone throwing anything in my face. If I end up on a big stream, I don't want it because for any other reason, but they like my project and they like me, and that's it. Really, that's it.
Yeah, I get that. I didn't know. Is there a lot of division over this? I didn't.
I think
I'm not aware of it.
Is fake. You know, some of these people pushing back are fake accounts as well. I always take that into consideration.
Like, I didn't realize there was a divisive opinion on this. Maybe I'm just stuck in an echo chamber or something, because I really thought that it was like, it kind of like he made it and it's like, okay, it kind of blew over. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right spots.
I mean, from what I could tell on the tweet itself that Ethan had made, it was actually, and I'm going to bring that up right now. It seemed like most of the comments were pretty positive toward it.
Again,
So,
yes, the other day when we were talking about drama in ComicsGate, those people that want drama are always going to perpetuate it, regardless of what it's about. It makes no difference anyway.
right.
So, like I said earlier on, like whatever Ethan does on his platform, that's Ethan's platform. He can do what the fuck he wants. He doesn't have to have. He doesn't have to have anybody in. He doesn't need to be promoting anybody's books.
No.
It's no different from a gas station having a sign that says no shoot, no shirts, no shirt, no service.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I don't think there is any controversy in him saying that. And the people that don't like him are going to be like, oh, well, I guess you can't promote Cecil or Dan Fraga or, you know, his friends that are still doing their first book.
Right.
But they're just rabble rousing to rabble rouse, I think, or maybe just saying it with tongue in cheek. Honestly, I mean, I think.
I get that sense too. I feel like most of the people really in this game and part of this network are pretty much in agreement. So and I don't.
Yeah.
It's, to me, it's not even a discussion on does he have the right or should he be able to make that decision for his own platform. That's not even on the table to me as a discussion point.
Right.
The discussion point for me is it a good decision? Is it good for CG? And I think it is.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I think my take is he shouldn't even have to make that statement, because it's not anybody else's business, really. I mean, we're a community and a network, and I know some fantastic creators that every night I log on YouTube, they're on something different. They're on someone's show. They're on someone's stream. They're doing it themselves. At the end of the day, it's a full-time job. You've got to treat it with the respect that it is a full-time job. When you've got a book out or a project, you've got to be building up yourself. And I think that it's always a privilege and an honor to get on someone's stream like Ethan, but it's not a right. And even if you get on that platform, it doesn't mean that you've got the right to shill your book. It means that you've got a right to sit there and be part of a conversation and contribute when the time is right. And that to me is pretty much it. I mean, I feel like I owe him a lot for the very small percentage of a dent that I may have made in CG, but in reality, it's only Twitter and YouTube. It's nothing in my hands yet. And when I get when I start getting artwork through, I'll start showing it. But I've always had the attitude that you don't have any leverage until you have a product anyway. And I don't even mean leverage over on someone like Ethan's channel. I mean just leverage over yourself and your own presence as a creator. If you don't have a book out, you're nothing more than, well, I don't say nothing more because that sounds really bad, but you're a consumer and you're part of the movement, but you don't really have a right to have much more of an opinion, if that makes sense.
Oh, you're such a diva.
Oh, still I'm not.
I kind of disagree. I feel like you don't need to necessarily be making a book. You could be putting together a show. You could be hosting shows. That's another form of content creation. It gets your name out there.
Oh, yeah,
It kind of builds your reputation. Like when Rotten drops his book, we can go back and look, and we could see kind of like, oh yeah, he's been supporting this for a long time. He's been really involved in the community. It builds up that credibility. It helps you out. So even if you don't have that book ready, it's not a bad thing to be involved.
So that's
very
exactly,
much true.
That's exactly the path that I'm heading down as well, because I've got a few ideas that I want to eventually get to, but at the moment, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just a fan. Yeah, okay, I've done some work on a couple of campaigns, but I'm still just a fan. That's all I am, and that's all I intend on being until I actually get to the point where I can put a book out. But
yeah, and that's how it works.
In the meantime, I'm going to sit on YouTube. I'm going to do my shit. I'm going to shill some books. I'm going to talk to creators. The show I do, unfortunately, it was cancelled last night because Rob had to go away and do something very quickly. But it's been rearranged for the 21st, and I love doing that because I'm not necessarily shilling books on that show. I'm trying to talk to creators about being creators. Which is I know it's not really a common thing in ComicsGate, but that's my angle on it. That's because I want to know. I want to know there's things I want to learn from other creators that I can then apply to my own stuff.
You're not just a Cap. You're not just a fan. You can say, and no, you don't have a book out. But I think this goes back to the point previously about if you have a show or you have an idea and something that's positive and influential, then you do have a voice. You was very, very instrumental in making CG UK a thing. Now, whether CG UK is considered to be, or whatever it's considered to be, we're a great group of friends who have a really great little show with great chemistry, and we reach out to so many different people. And for me, you're not just a fan because you made that possible, and you've made a lot of future projects possible because of it. So shut your pie hole. Is what I'm trying to say to you. Right?
Damn.
Let's also not forget that he's a flatter on his.
Damn, dude.
So he's actually getting.
This is the Charlie's.
Charlie simping for Captain Fuckhead. There you go. I like that. See, it goes both ways.
Wow.
Yeah, equal opportunity.
I do also want to point out, and I don't know if anyone's considered this aspect, you can actually fulfill a book, a project, and still be in demand. Okay? If you overprint your book, which every creator should be doing, because those overprints are really where you're going to make a lot of your money, and maybe Eric can speak to that a little.
It costs bugger all to overprint anyone actually listening there. All the cost is getting the fucking printers working in the first place.
Exactly.
Once they're running.
Overprint the hell out of your project. Keep it in demand. Once you start fulfilling and people are getting that book, guess what? EVS could potentially still have you on for that project. There are ways to do this. I'm just saying it's not a closed door, even if it's your first project, and I don't know if anyone's considered that.
And I also look at it from this perspective. I didn't buy Vestige 1 until I saw that Gat had it at his house. And
There you
as
go.
soon as I saw as soon as he posted those pictures with all them boxes in his living room, I bought the book. And so there's also that slight
Yeah.
perspective as well. So that's
that's
kinda
it right
how I-
there. That's kind of the same thing.
Well,
Very
we
cool.
were within the little CG UK DM group thing. We were talking about this earlier on, and we call him Chubb. You all might know him as Carl Stephen or Mary Boys, but he signs all his work, Chubb, so that's how he gets known here. One of the first things he said when he popped into that conversation earlier was, "Well, I've got boxes of books. I'm going to post Ethan's on Monday."
Yep.
So his break, because everything for his campaign is, he's got it in his house. It's all there. It's just a case of posting it at the moment. But of course, we all know we're in a situation worldwide where post is a bit of a problem. So I know some people are holding back so the postal service can relax a little bit more. I had a book from Ethan arrive the other day that took 27 days to get from here from the US to the UK,
Damn.
and within that, he had been to Tokyo twice.
What
So
is
that just
that
shows
nonsense?
you. Normally it's 10 days from US to my door. So that shows you the pressure that the postal service is under. So I know a lot of people are holding back, but Carl was immediately, no, I'm getting that bit posted now. I don't care if there's a delay. He's getting the. I'm going to make sure it's dealt with.
I don't understand right here.
Yeah, I didn't
Except
get that
if you overprint, you are taking money from your actual backers. That doesn't
that's
ring
not
true at all.
Crowdfunding is backers saying we believe in this project. We want it to. It's not a pre-order. It's a way of saying here's money for you to fund your project.
Yeah.
However that looks.
If anyone's done, and this is what Captain Fuckhead was speaking to, if anyone's ever done printing, it says initial 500 to 1,000 books that cost the largest amount of money. Once you start printing over those amounts of books, it gets so cheap to print those extra copies.
Yep.
And we're not saying use the money that you're supposed to be using for shipping and fulfillment to overprint. We're just saying take a little bit, even if it's out of pocket, overprint your project so you can keep selling it. Even if it's on your second campaign, you can re-offer that first.
Here's an
your
example.
next thing.
Here's an example. You can go on to printer websites and get instant quotes. I looked at Mix'em just now. To print a 56-page comic book from Mix'em, to print 1,000 of those is roughly $2,000. So you would think to print 10,000 that it would be $20,000, but it's not. It's $8,000 to print.
Yep.
It's 10,000
Yeah,
as opposed to
right.
1,000. It's economies of scale, as it's called.
Exactly.
So-
And also, if it's your first printing or if you're just starting a business, you don't want to look at all the profits. I mean, you should, but you don't want to necessarily base everything off of profits you made off of the first book. And it would be wise for someone who's new to something like this to print extra copies. So if they ever do go to some type of convention or create a web page or go on eBay, they have those extras. And then they can. You're not going to always make money off of a $10,000 GoFundMe or IGG. You know what I'm saying?
It depends on what the project
But once
is.
you start hitting like 70, 80, 90,000, then your profit margins are going to be larger.
Yeah.
I
So
think
there is
also
that.
Wilberforce, are you speaking to like collectability, like resale value? Is that?
Yeah,
I mean,
he
is
was
that what
talking
you're
about
speaking
secondary
to?
market earlier.
on
Maybe.
on
But
that as well.
I disagree with that. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
these campaigns aren't
They're
saying,
s-
"Oh, we're only going to print 500 books." It's not.
Okay.
They're not giving you the limit, And a
I
lot of the
don't-
campaigns that
yeah.
have that value are the ones that say we're retiring this cover or we're retiring this after this campaign. But you can keep printing the insides of them.
But
It's.
you also can't. You
That's
also from a delivery perspective, you have to overprint anyway. And I think Eric, you had to deal with this as well because you had books that didn't pass. Call it quality control, which is a bit.
They
of
didn't pass my muster. That's correct.
there you go.
But,
So-
which is why I have I'm glad I had about 600 books I needed to print. I printed 1,000, and it's paid off because I was able to do the battle damaged copies, which still in
That
an
was a
ant
great
farm, right?
idea, man. That was super
Yeah.
smart.
But you
Can I
can,
be
I
honest
do-
They're
with that?
sitting here, right? Why not? And Charlie's, you just got yours, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I was expecting. I mean, I was literally expecting the back page to be ripped or something like
Everybody-
that. And
Some
when it
tiny
turned
little-
up and there was nothing, I would have needed
I
a
got
microscope
two-
to find this problem. All I can think it is that it looks like it was either the book at the top of a box or the book at the bottom of a box where it's got caught in the lip that's shut, or the very bottom where there might be a slight bend. But again, like, this is another thing that I was going to be talking about if I managed to get to do this stream a bit later, is that if that's the quality of CG books, I'm sorry, but that I'd pick that copy would easily be one that you'd pick up in a comic book shop that they'd sell for the regular price. And if you was to go to the till and say it's slightly damaged, can I have 10% off? They would simply say to you, "We'll put it back. You don't have to buy it."
Yeah.
Right.
Could I
wanted
just
to leave-
I
Yeah.
really need to throw in a really bad joke, and I'm sorry, Eric. Is that your response? Charlie, check the cover again. There might be a spelling mistake in the title.
There might be. I'm known to not be an editor. No, but you know, when I'm handling all these books, and you see them, what I would consider perfect condition, and then you see one that's got just like a little something, I would just set it to the side. And there were some that do have actual crushed corners and stuff, but everybody's mad at me because they're not damaged enough. I need to.
They wanted them really battle damage.
I need to go take some heavy machinery to these remaining books, and
I
take them out
wanted
the
to
range or something.
finish this out with Wilberforce Wooster. You know, when we're talking about the scale of most CG projects here, how many books are we talking about? At what point, how large does a print run have to be before collectability is actually affected? I don't think even Cyberfrog has hit the kind of number where it's not considered a very rare item.
Yeah, I think all of the print runs on every crowdfunding book so far is considered rare. Just in terms of scale of like regular comics, they sell through 40, 50, 60,000 copies.
Exactly.
And you don't get numbers like that here in crowdfunding.
So
you
if
make more
you're,
money
if you're selling, let's say you sell 1,000 books and you overprint 500, this is not affecting resale value. This is not affecting.
He's got the EBS bug.
Man, yeah.
Well, also look at it like this. It's also it's basically like Wilbur's kind of saying that Ethan, even though he's a creator, can't sell what he made on the secondary market. Even though he is the person, he ultimately is selling it on the secondary market through eBay. So he will regulate the price until a year or two later when the next book comes out, and the first one will be more. I see what Wilbur is saying, but like what Mitch was saying in the chat and whatnot, it's not going to affect anything ultimately. Especially, it's not.
They're not. I don't feel like the campaigns that are selling, like where the creators are still producing it, ever said that. Oh yeah, this is exclusive. You're never going to be able to get it anywhere, but Indiegogo or this one campaign. And if they do something like that, then that is backtracking.
There are a few examples of that. For instance, the day one cover for EBS is Wrecked Planet.
Yes.
And my card, if you signed up before the campaign launched and you back the book, you're going to get a card that nobody else gets. But those are little tiny trinkets in terms.
Right, but what I'm saying is that, and then if you go and sell that card on eBay now, that's where you cross the line. There's nothing wrong with you being exclusive, but unless you come out and say it's exclusive, like you can keep on printing Flying Fortress. You didn't say it was exclusive. You can keep selling that for as long as you can.
Right.
Can I add something here? When it came to me getting my contract from the Chaplin estate, one of the things that they've given me a lower copyright percentage of what I'll have to pay them at the end of because I mean it's on free, and that's why I'm crowdfunding it, because they've been very good and said to me, this book could make £1,000, it could make £100,000. We're not going to charge you £10,000 up front for a license if you don't make the money there, because I've done a lot of work with them and they're very, very good to me. So what they've agreed is they're going to give me a lower copyright percentage if I have an exclusive retailer tier for them that only they can access through Indiegogo. So and they want theirs hardback, and that's going to have to be something that's going to come out of I'm going to have to work that printing cost out and this, that, and the other. And I don't think for 1 minute that people really take into account that when you do these crowdfunding books, you don't necessarily make a lot of money out of them. It's a passion project to start with, especially if you're dealing as well with something that's not your product. And, I don't know how that's going to work out, because I listen to the likes of Eric and Ethan and these people, and they talk about, how much of a percentage you've got to consider that are going to be damaged, how much of a set percentage could get lost in the post, what the postage is going to be. And it's why a lot of the time when I watch these streams, I sit here with a notebook, because I take so much information from what you guys say, because I want to learn from your mistakes, so that when I then become a creator, other people can learn from mine. And it's a scary but exciting business all at the same time.
Yeah. That's why we put that info out there too, is so that other people can learn from our mistakes. Hopefully, and you realize when you see things that not all of that information is getting through all the time. I was tagged in a Twitter thread saying the only printer I know about is Print Ninja. What else you got? And there have been plenty of us over the past couple of months talking about all the different printers we've used. So it's a matter of people being there to be able to pay attention. And that's why I'm glad that we are out here saying, this is the printer I use. This is the trouble I had with that printer. Man, I kind of wish maybe I went with this other one. You had a good experience with these guys. Okay, maybe I'll try them this time. There's all of that. This is the network of ComicsGate that people talk about a lot. Is that's for the creator side of it. It's very, very important for everybody. You hear Ethan saying that. I think it said he cost him $16,000 to print all of those trading cards. I don't know how on earth it costs that much when I can get trading cards for pennies on the dollar. And
well, he was talking about the ones he put into the packaging.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The packaging like skyrocketed the cost. Yeah. So he's like, not doing that again. Which is, I think,
to hit on Wilberforce again. These are first print runs, and Nathan specifically said something about Vestige. Once they're sold out of the Vestige book with Ethan's cover, that limited print run is over, and when they start their next campaign, they're going to sell Vestige 1 again, but it's going to have cover 2 or cover B.
Sure. I wasn't kidding. I wasn't picking up on the exclusive part. I was just saying, like, I was looking at it as, you want to be able to sell your product to people. I mean, that's the whole point of doing this. So I'm not speaking to exclusivity of a cover like Vestige is doing, and I'm sure they're going to stand by that. But, I think you should always make your product available to the customer. If you promise exclusivity on a certain cover, obviously you have to stay true to that word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I just add something here? Razmaz just said in the chat about an exclusive book. For my situation, the only reason they want an exclusive book is because they want something exclusive they can sell at their film festivals, their gift shops. And I negotiated that it goes through Indiegogo, so it actually goes on my campaign to help fulfill my campaign. So I just want to make that clear. It's not like I'm giving something.
Schemes and scams.
Yeah, it's not a scheme and a scam. It's essentially going to be the same book. It's just that it's going to be hardcover with maybe a variant cover on it, and it's also going to have a section at the back which is actual photos from the archive that would have been used for inspiration for the book. But there's also nothing stopping me having those in my own copies for my ComicsGate customers. It's simply that they want this beautiful hardback copy they can sell in their gift shops and probably charge 3 times the amount that I'm actually going to be selling it to them for. But I have to do it because I don't own the IP.
Do you happen to know who Narwhal used, Eric, for Earthbound?
I reached out to him. He said it was some guy. It's like Eagle Print or something like that. Okay. Somebody that he found. I don't know how.
I got the Earthbound hardcover. It's exceptional high quality, and I know that he printed. It was.
He did them both at the same time.
But I guess this printer, because he was doing a regular print run, they offered him a really spectacular deal on getting 500 hardcovers. Yeah. So Charlie, it might be worth checking out.
Great.
I think with Narwhal as well, though, he has contact in the business, in the printing business.
I think
could
so.
be.
Yeah.
I think
That
that's
could
why,
be.
because he's when I've listened to Narwhal speak about his projects before on his channel. Go sub to Narwhal. He's yeah, you got to love Narwhal. He's talked about having specific conversations with the person who's managing his account, as it were.
Yeah.
So he does have a direct route into that particular business.
Mhm.
I actually heard of Mixam before I even heard of ComicsGate, because they print a lot of the British Premier League football programs, and
Yes,
they do. And the team that I support, that Cap doesn't like me mentioning because he throws up when he hears it. Their programs look like comic books every other weekend that we go football. And so when I realized it was those products, I was like, wow, like the ComicsGate guys are using them. They are really good, because they're, you know, at the end of the day, football programs or soccer programs, they're collector's items too, right? So they're obviously, that's the market they're going for, something that people want to look after and keep for a long time. And every ComicsGate comic I've ever bought, I you know, or Jan and I have bought, we look after. They stay in their bags and boarded. We maybe read them once, or we'll buy an extra copy to read it and keep the other one. That's why I was so shocked when I received Flying Fortress, because I was looking. Sorry, Eric, I was
surprised.
looking so damaged.
I'm surprised it made it. I'm noticing a lot of the international orders are just sort of ping-ponging right now all over the place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like they're like in Illinois, and they're going from different distributors in Illinois. And I've had people like, hey, where is it? Because the tracking number doesn't update until it's left the Illinois, the big distribution warehouse or whatever, to go overseas. So they've been sitting there for like, some of them since the 17th, and I'm looking at the tracking on stamps, and it's ping pong. And then you show up and with a tweet saying you got it. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Oh man, that's
It's
crazy.
everywhere. It's not just you.
So-
My copy of Vestige made it to California and then somehow ended up in Pennsylvania. I'm like, how did you were so close. I could have driven it up. It was an hour away from my house.
Chase down.
Yeah,
that truck.
my vestige is shipped too. I can't wait to get that book. I'm really excited.
Did your
about
vestige ship out yesterday?
it. Yes, I believe so.
So I got the email. Mine shipped out yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna refresh Eric Weathers' Battle Brick Road here, and we're gonna take credit for all these backers as well.
You take all the credit. You can have every ounce of it.
Let's see what we got here. Boom!
Oh man!
Look at that.
Hey.
You heard it here first, people. Midday Repartee. We moved that needle. We moved that needle.
What's that in real money?
Thank you very much, Rotten. Yeah, this has just been this day has exceeded expectations on the
yeah, man, and you're
on,
not
on
even
the survey,
close to
I'm gonna
done.
check exceeds expectations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. We
Yeah,
are
thank
so
you
happy
everybody
for
for
you, man.
backing and all of that.
Yeah, dude, you're almost at 200 backers. This
I
is
know.
incredible to watch. This is my favorite part of CG, is when we have these big launch days and all this energy is there and the drama just kind of melts away.
Yeah,
And we get into what we're really here for, which is just having a great time and buying and selling great comics. You know?
Here, here.
Still not broke
Stop.
10K yet though.
Don't look at the British figures.
It's 9,303 glorious British pounds.
Well, give
I
it
swear the
15
dollar
minutes.
is
People even
dropping
use that
rapidly.
currency.
Every hour the dollar just keeps
think
going
people use
down
that
and
currency anymore.
down.
We're here to fix that. I'm here to bring the dollar back strong. And
That's
Battle
right.
Brick Road is leading the way. Oh, I think I hear children. I might be swarmed here in a minute.
Well, does anyone have anything to add to the topic of the day? I think we covered it pretty well. I think we went different directions and got into some really good information today.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have anything they want to promote? You got a show today, Captain Fuckhead?
Not today, but I am thinking of starting a new one on Monday.
Okay.
What I want to do is shill some books, but what's in my brain is I'd like to hear from the fans rather than the creators on the Monday show. I want the fans to come on and pitch the books that they're most looking forward to, But if you are a creator, you'll be more than welcome to
Cool.
come on, and you can pitch your book, but you have to bring another book with you. You have to bring another campaign that you're excited about, and because I want to know why the fans are excited about these books, not what the creators are excited by. Because like I say,
really
my
cool.
Thursday show is all about what they do and how they do it. So I want to hear from the fans as well.
It's a
And
cool
you can
idea.
find me on YouTube at Captain Fuckhead. There is no you in me, just FCK.
Nice.
Same
man.
on
And
Twitter, ladies
I
and
do
gentlemen.
think Commie Mark has a show happening a little
Yeah.
bit later today, right?
In 2 hours over on his channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Factory.
this is a cracker. So we had on Wednesday on the CG UK show, we had Mandy Summers was our glorious guest, and of course she wrote the book. What's it called, Charlie? Dino Pornosaur.
Hardcore Pornosaur.
So on
Oh, right.
Mark's show.
Hardcore Pornosaur.
Yeah, so on Mark's show tonight, which he calls Russian Troll Factory, him, Wyatt Holiday, Stencil Artist Jan. Go and follow Stencil Artist Jan on Twitter and YouTube. Just type in Stencil Artist Jan. So Wyatt Gilmore, Stencil Artist Jan, and Peter Wyatt Gilmore, no, Peter Gilmore and Wyatt Holiday are going to try and write a pornographic novella, but they're also going to use internet AI to help them forge the story.
Very nice. That sounds fun. Eric,
yeah.
I know you've given generously of your time coming on the show.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Is there anything you'd like to close out with?
I have nothing to promote right now. No, I just want to say thanks for having me on, and thank you for the potentially 200th backer. We're almost at 200 backers. Thanks to everybody who's backed it, who shared it, who's helping promote today. Today's Battle Brick Road Day,
Yes, it is.
Victory in Europe Day. So just, guys, thanks for having me on. Thanks for letting me talk about my book.
Absolutely, man.
It's nice
Appreciate
to meet you.
having you.
Finally.
Mitchell, you have any closing words?
Nah, I was gonna do another shout out to the Russian Troll Factory in 2 hours, but you kind of beat me to it. So I
Nice,
kind of
good.
don't have a spiel planned.
All right. Jay Money.
I would like to say hello, Charlie. No more underwear streams from your husband. And,
We are. I
I'll
have
see
to add.
y'all-
We
You
have
what?
to add Jay Money there that we are trying to convince Jan to do it again, but this time no underwear.
That shit cracked me up when I saw it. It really did.
Yeah.
I like laughing out loud for real. And but anyway, y'all have a good day. Love you all, and this movement is forever growing.
I love seeing it. Charlie, you got anything you want to drop at the end here?
I'm hosting CG Ladies Night tomorrow at it'll be 9 EST, so it's 2:00 in the morning for us Brits that are listening. I've also had some really good positive feedback about my YouTube channel. So Charlie's London is now Charlie's London Official. That sounds really pretentious, but I had to change it because there's actually a girl called Charlie that lives in London that seems to have like 3 followers and does weird videos about kayaking. So kayaking. So I had to change it. So it's Charlie's London Official.
Charlie's London Official. Okay.
Yeah, and
Cool.
my first episode of like my mini documentaries went up last night, and I'm going to be continuously doing like little bits and pieces that are going to be just like Chaplin related to different things, and also progress on my project and streams about different projects. And the thing I like to really move into is looking at the connection between silent films and comic books, because there's actually loads of them. So it's not just like Chaplin, it's actually like looking at the horror side, looking at the comedy, looking at the drama. So hopefully it's going to be really, really good.
Nice.
Just to reiterate, that is Charlie's London Official Diva on YouTube.
I want to thank the chat for being here and contributing. Always appreciate having you here. And go back Battlebrick Road, folks. This is the project of the day. It is going to soar, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.